If you stop for a moment to think about the condition of not only your life, but the life of all of those around you, you stop to think about the many things that you would hear that clearly tell you of the amount of problems that we have from people who want immoral, evil things to be untouched and run in this country the way they want it. People who have invaded this country that want control financially, physically, in every way. People that have brought drugs into the country and want control. There are so many people that are pulling at our nation to grab their bite of the pie of greed. I doubt if there is maybe 10 people, I'll give you a small thing, 10 people in probably everywhere you go that might be interested in what happens to this country or their own neighbors, who might be praying for God to have mercy on the children that have disappeared, on the children that others find pleasure in destroying. There might be 10 people in every area where this is working, where someone might be on their knees crying out to God about the atrocities, about the lying, the cheating, the stealing, and the very elite, the rich, who claim they were so poor. You know, being poor doesn't make you hate. Being poor and in poverty doesn't make you envious, doesn't make you jealous, doesn't make you covet, doesn't make you greed, doesn't make you want revenge, doesn't make you do any of those things. You do that to yourself. And there always comes a day when you will answer for what, out of the abundance of the heart, what he says, what Jesus Christ said, it's not what goes in to your mouth, but it's what comes out of it. Because there's murders, adultery, all kinds of evil things. But yet, you claim he's with you. You claim that he loves you. Oh, he doesn't love your neighbor. He doesn't love those that are striving to do what is right, that never want to do evil, to insult God. Well, he doesn't love them. And you believe that he loves you because you're never caught. You're never guilty. You're never put in a corner, and you're never harassed. You're never none of those things. You sit real safe. And so therefore, surely God is with you. Now, I said a message a little bit ago, and when I said it, it wasn't personal. I did not pull it out of the hat. It wasn't my opinion. It wasn't my understanding. It was what God, word for word, gave me. When I say, "Thus saith the Lord," it's what God gives me. And when God gives me something, it will flow because he wants to warn people. You see, he loves his creation, but he doesn't love one more than the other. In other words, he is never the one that gives you the power to destroy his creation and make it like you. Force it into subjection to be like you. And, and like I said before, most of the core of these problems came within sitting in a church in believing that God will force everyone into submission to what you think, what you feel, to your doctrine, to your ways. Never thinking that God has his own ways and that every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. That the day will come where all of us will answer for what we do. And he is coming. The first time he came in love, mercy, peace, goodwill towards all men. But now the second coming, he's coming in judgment. And he had the Old Testament to really waken up your eyes on how he deals with sin, to let you know what kind of God he really is. That when he says he pours out his wrath on every single soul that does evil, and I'm talking about knowingly. There's a lot of people that don't know that they're wrong. And even those sins are not near as bad as the atrocities against children, the atrocities against mankind, the atrocities of slave trafficking women. Even those, some of you feel so safe because you never forsake the assembling of yourselves together. But you never, ever think about your neighbor. You never think and pray. I'm not talking about now I lay me down to sleep prayer. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. That's not a prayer. That's a mockery. Oh Lord, be with them. Help them today. Instead of getting earnest with God, crying out to him, Lord, look over here. Take a good look and remember what your word says about these atrocities. Remember what you said, Lord, about if anybody does anything to hurt your little ones. Remember, bring it to your ears, Lord. Bring it to your ears of the hatred that you have for deliberate sin. Bring it to your ears, O God, of the blasphemers that believe that Jesus Christ died so they can continue in sin, so they never have to keep their garments clean. Lord, remember all of your teachings in the Word of God that they claim. Remember, oh God, all the ways that they have twisted and turned it so they could keep their sin at any cost, where they could have their pleasure and refuse to give it up. Remember, God, every soul that you ever created has a free moral agency of choice. You gave them the power to overcome any sin. Remember, oh God, you are the one that taught us in the Word that it's a matter of choice. They either choose the King of Righteousness or they choose the hell that goes with falling into the pit. Nowadays, the pit is a vat that is filled with blood of the past saints, filled with the blood of the past prophets, filled with the blood of the innocent babies, of the innocent children, that their innocence has been ripped away from them. And how many times they've been raped and ravaged. And how many parents have allowed this to happen or even helped it to happen. You've been so kind, oh Father, so kind as to give us babies, children. You've been so kind to give us the goodness of God. We still, even though it's barely, we still have the power to breathe fresh air. We still have the power to keep us from being sick, no matter what flies through that air, Lord God. You know, and I know, that you have power over it all. That is not what we inject in our body. That we don't have to be afraid of injections, because we saw plainly in the Word that a poisonous viper bit Paul and he just brushed it off. There are those of you that say you love God, and you need to learn how to brush off that viper off of yourself, brush it off of your family, and therefore brush it off of the church. But if you are living only for yourself, only for the moment, only for your own pleasure, only for your own thinking, only for your own ways, how are you living a life that says, love the Lord thy God with all thy soul, heart, strength, mind, and your neighbor as yourself? Where does that fit into your thinking? Where does that fit into the way you are? Every soul has a seat of reasoning where God can reach them and convict them of their sins, unless you've blasphemed your day of grace away and you really don't care about anybody or anything else. Oh, many of you will contact me and you will say things like, oh, is God angry with me? You know, if you question that, you better search out, what did I do to cause God to be angry at me? Because I wouldn't be thinking it. I know every soul within us knows whether we have done right or we have done wrong. And when we keep on digging, when God already gave us peace, gave us everything, we have to remember that we were grafted in because the church of its day would not rest. Mix it with their faith and rest. Of course, God would be angry that you won't rest. Rest in the blood of Jesus Christ that cleanses you from all sin. Rest and let him give you peace that goes far beyond understanding. Let him touch your life. Let him turn you around. Oh, if you think you did it wrong yesterday, there's the power of the blood to erase it. If you think that you may have made a mistake, you don't have to go into confusion. You don't have to beg him. You don't have to plead with him. All you have to do is look up and say, Father. You see, a father's not going to beat on you for what you don't know. A father is not going to beat on you for what you haven't been able to see. He's not there with his heavy hand of the wrath of God. That is for the children of disobedience. That is for those who believe it is all right to continue in sin. That is for those who believe it is all right to demand pleasure on their bodies at the cost of little babies and children. That is for people who kill babies enough to smear it all over their bodies and even inject their blood, thinking that it'll give them youth. It'll cause them to live forever. Because the Bible does teach that life is in the blood. But when you keep putting blood into you that doesn't belong to you, that in these different ways, you're asking for something you're not prepared to endure. Because there comes a time that you get an allergy reaction to it. There comes a time where God will see to it, it no longer works. And you, when you're looking for beauty, you're going to behold ugliness. When you're looking for youth, you're going to behold age. When you're looking for truth, you're going to just be slimed down on the ground in lies. When you're looking for God to bless you after you've altered and changed who you are as His creation, you're going to behold. You're going to see His day coming. Some of you, He said, the eyes will burn out of their sockets while you still curse Him. And you're going to run to the hills and ask the rocks to fall on you. You would rather die that way than to face Him, because you know what you've done to Him with every single child. When you support evil and you put a mark, that mark is right there on your forehead of disobedience. That mark says that you support people who destroy these babies. That mark says that you paid attention to the propaganda that this one says this one's bad, that was, but never mind. Hey, this other one, he says it's okay to have a baby for 7 days before you kill it, before you decide to murder it. Oh, that's okay. Those laws get passed. That's okay if you go against what God has taught from the beginning and showed with all creation. For if you take a good look at Psalm 19, he tells you that everything that you know to do is shown to you plainly through all of creation. Like I said, if you're so ignorant and so vile that you don't know which end you eat food out of, you don't know which end you poo out of or potty out of, and which end you use for procreation, if you're so ignorant that you think it's all going to be all right, just a few minutes of pleasure, just a few seconds, just a few seconds for unnatural pleasure where the devil can thrust. He literally thrusts with you and puts a rush on your soul till you become addicted of the evil, till you become addicted to altering what you look like, till you become addicted to drinking certain things and eating certain things and shooting up certain things, till you become addicted and want nothing else, because the feelings that Satan puts upon you, you choose to have for a few moments of, I can't even call it pleasure, a few moments of the evil, vile things that some of you do. Worse yet, you go to church 3 times a week and you pray for that person that's doing all these things. You ask God to keep them. You ask God that, oh, I feel sorry for that poor man. There's just no limit to the compassion that you have on someone who can do evil. I mean, the worst evil. It's opened up and destroyed your own nation, and you're still so ignorant that you don't even figure out why, because you think you're going to have a better day. You think with all these lies and propaganda, they're going to give you a better day. They don't care about you. They're never going to give you a better day. They're going to give them more, and they're going to give them a better day. And so the only hope you have is if someone cares enough to stop the atrocities in the schoolroom, to stop the filthy books they put in the schoolroom, to stop the crooked justice system that says, yeah, put that evil in there. Teach those children how to do this at the ages of 5 and 10. Oh, yeah, it's a good thing. They don't need to learn reading and writing and arithmetic. Oh, let all of those who are male dress up like women and make themselves up and then strip right in front of the little ones. If you haven't seen those realities of those videos, you can say till doomsday before God, oh, it's AI. AI did that. Oh, but your spirit that belongs to God knows you won't be able to lie to him. You know when you're supporting evil. You are going to be responsible for supporting it. You know when you put that little mark. You know what you're doing for this party or electing someone because they're a woman. One of the most ignorant, stupidest thing that people could ever do is vote for somebody into office because of their gender. Or because they're either a man or a woman, or because of their color. Because you put all of your life and your children into their hands when they don't have the brains to know. And I'm talking about the brains to know what they are doing with their own bodies is wrong. Oh, but you're gonna do everything. Oh, if you don't see why God allowed this country to be turned upside down. Those of you that know how to pray, you need to get more earnest in prayer to pull down strongholds of powers, principalities, rulers of wickedness. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. I'm not talking about you pulling down a certain person. That's flesh and blood. I'm talking about you pulling down the powers that come from the evil wickedness in the air. The dark angels, everything in darkness. That's what you're supposed to pull down, not people. When God speaks and warns you, that's not because he hates you, but you see, they twist it around that if you don't agree with them, you hate them. They have all of their bases covered to stop you from changing them because they are locked in to the evil against God. Are you one of them? Are you one of them? Because there are people right now that are on the brink of jumping off a cliff. The brink. Oh, look at how nice he's. Oh, look at. Oh, look. Oh, that poor thing. He's in that condition and nobody pities him. Well, I'll pity him. Never mind that little 9-year-old that had her breasts cut off to change her for all of her life. Never mind that these people brought drugs that kill your children. Never mind those things. Those don't count. Ask yourself some questions. Where are the children? Oh, the children that have disappeared for years. Where are they? Where are the children that even come over the border, where they have no proof of no mother, no father, they can't trace them? Oh my goodness, that's exactly what they want. I'm not naming parties. I'm not naming people. I'm naming anybody that does this. Anybody that you know does this. I'm not talking about any particular person. I'm talking about you and your responsibility, where you become partaker of their evil deeds. And that you need to make a way for it to change, for people to stop allowing this stuff done to children. And when you know of somebody that wants to do that, you know of somebody that wants to stop the invasion of your country, stop the drug cartels, and you won't vote for them because you heard a lot of propaganda, there is something wrong with your walk with God, because I doubt if you have one. You want to get angry at what I say? Have at it. You want to rise up in hate? Have at it. You want to do anything? Have at it. I won't stop you. I don't have to. I don't have to lift up my voice for help from anybody. All I gotta do is look up, for my redemption draweth nigh. All I gotta do is trust in the one that has always, always blessed me. Those of you that face death, find out about the only one that can hold your hand while you face it. Find out about the only one who can heal you and deliver you before you start standing and believing with other people and other groups and other organizations. Understand, when he's not there, he's not there. You can't conjure him up. You can't make him be there. You can't make it. Just like you can't take God and someone like me, pull him down and tramp on him, and it'd be okay. Have at it.